Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing on this lovely, I lied, it's a dreary Thursday evening in my part of the world. As you can see, my part of the world is somewhere beyond the moon right now because that's how I'm feeling about our 3-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. I hope you're having a nice week. My week has gone by obscenely fast, as they all seem to when you're planning a wedding and have 5 jobs and run the most prestigious Steelers YouTube channel that there is. I'm a busy man, but because I love you, I am doing 2 streams this week, and my guest tonight, as usual, on the Thursday, Wednesday, whatever day we do an edition of 5 Star Radio, is Mr. Steel Flyers. How you doing, buddy?
Ooh-wee! 3-0. Hey, all right. Oh, wait. This is season 6, ain't it?
This is indeed season 6, yes.
Oh, snap. Get yourself on over to Patreon, 5 Star SMU. Get signed up. Season 6. Let's rock and roll.
Patreon.com/5SMU. Give $4 a month. I mean, it's $1 a week, folks. Come on. If you get DoorDash one time, you're spending more than that on a tip. Okay, I know damn well you can afford $4 a month. Patreon.com/5SMU. I love you. Appreciate the support. Steel Flyers, I feel like we have to address the purple elephant in the room, which is your apparatus. The people want to know. They deserve to know what's going on in your world, Steel Flyers. How come we haven't seen you since week 1?
All right. So if you notice, I'm talking a little differently. On the 14th of September, I had a bit of an accident. And I basically did a face plant on concrete. I was sitting out on the porch, and next thing I know, I wasn't sitting out on the porch. And I remember waking up and getting into my chair, and the blood was all, coming down. And so, long story short, what I did was I fractured this whole section of teeth right up here, all of them, and split my gum all the way back up into the roof of my mouth. Yeah, baby. Hey, when I do it right. And then
clearly.
I pushed out all of the bottom ones, so these were all fractured down here.
Oh my God, this is. Okay. I'm sorry. Everybody knows I'm a horror movie guy. I have a Halloween tattoo. Gore, blood, that it doesn't bother me, but
right.
But teeth, what you just described to me, is one of only 2 things that freak me out, and I can't handle. That is, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I don't envy it, because I've had a lot of dental work myself, and like not because of accidents like that, but like it's just the whole thing. So we wish you nothing but the best, Steel Flyers.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I actually did post a video out onto the Steel Flyers All Sports Network over on YouTube. Go check it out. It's a couple minutes long, and it explains what's going on. They put 2 metal posts down on the bottom here. So whenever I heal up, which will probably take about a month or so, then they'll fit me for anchored dentures. So
right.
now I'm a hockey player guy, right?
Yeah, but now you're going to be able to chomp down on anything. That's awesome. I want to get that. Like I said, I want to do that. Just can I just go in and get it done? No.
you keep your teeth. No. I was like when I
want to start
went to
cracking walnuts with those things.
When I first went to the dentist, they just said that these top couple here were fractured.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, we'll schedule you and we'll get those removed, and then we'll start making a partial for you and everything, right? So when I went to the surgeon 2 days later, and I went to the surgeon, and the doctor looked at the X-rays, and then he looked at me, and he started wiggling stuff around, and he said, we're gonna take a scan.
Yeah.
So they did a CT scan, and it revealed all of the fractured, pushed out teeth on the bottom, and all the fractured teeth here on the top.
Oh
So
man. All right. Well, the 5-star community is an empathetic one, and I know everyone out there is rooting for you to make really speedy and relatively pain-free recovery. Are you like comfortable? I mean, are you like in discomfort, or are you?
okay, so like I can't touch anything
Yeah,
here because it still really hurts.
yeah,
Thankfully, I didn't break my nose
yeah.
because when I went to the urgent care, that was the first thing the doctor did was run his finger down my nose, and they said, "Well, at least it ain't broke." And I said, "All right," but man, I'll tell you what, it's because what happened was is when I hit the ground, right, I hit kind of on a glancing
Oh,
slide
yeah,
thing, right, so I smushed my nose real good. Hey, but
yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't have like black eyes, and
No, I mean
you know what I mean? Like
that's
when that
the
happens, well,
that's the positive, but man, wow, that's rough. That's yeah, that I cringe hearing that, and I wish you nothing but the best.
yeah, man, we're doing what we can, you
That
know.
is rough.
Yeah,
The
thank
other
you.
the other thing, because I mentioned, if anybody wants to keep track of all my fears in case they want to blackmail me, the other thing besides teeth is small spaces. I'm very claustrophobic. I don't know if I've ever mentioned
Really?
that on the air before, but yeah,
Oh no.
yeah, I can't do like small spaces. Like if you've ever seen the movie The Descent, that's basically my worst nightmare. I like the idea people who go like in the caverns and stuff, like the spelunking, like when
No, yeah,
that's the like
y'all have fun.
yeah, small spaces. I'm very adventurous. I would jump out of a plane. In fact, I want to skydive sometime. But
Remind me to check your head then later.
no, I listen. You know what? You live one time, man. I
Right?
wanna experience all the things you can experience. I want to go to space. I want to do whatever.
Hey, I would want to go to space too.
But but um but yeah, claustrophobia. That's the bad one for me. Like I can't.
So you're not
It's
going to be
tough.
that guy that says, "So this is one of the worst dreams that I ever had," and I've seen this happen with archaeologists that do exploring, like in the tombs in Egypt and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
And there's this little bit of space at the bottom,
Nope.
right? And
No.
then you crawl through, and then it's this
No.
big, huge room.
Yeah.
But
No.
the only way
No,
out.
I'm good. No, I'm good. I don't need it. No.
Okay,
No.
right? Yeah.
No. No,
Yeah.
I don't
See,
need it. I don't anything that could potentially be like a one-way
yep,
path. I
yep.
can never, will never, never gonna
Yep.
be me. No way.
So with you
Uh,
on that, man.
I had one time. I've had one time. I'll tell a funny, just quick story to make fun of myself to make you feel better. I one time was moving our bed up the elevator in our apartment building because we moved up a couple flights a couple years ago. People might remember I used to have a 1-bedroom apartment. Now I got a 2-bedroom. That's when I got the office with all the pictures behind me and stuff. And
Okay.
we had to move up a couple floors. So we put the mattress, my wife, soon to be wife, and I put the mattress in the elevator, and it's a small elevator, and just the way she pushed it in, it like made like a hypotenuse, like a triangle with
Yep.
me
Yep.
in the corner of the elevator, and I like was like, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, sorry, I just like it just triggered, like just in my brain was just like, oh my god, okay. And I had to be like, it's literally a mattress and I'm literally in an elevator, like I'm fine. But it was
You're gonna
like,
be okay.
but like that's a very real thing,
It
people,
is.
that's
It
it's
is.
yeah.
Absolutely, it is, man. And you know what? No belittling of people that have those types of
Yeah,
fears and
no, I
stuff.
respect anybody. You tell me it's like, oh, I can't deal with snakes, that's fine, you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to be marching around with a bunch of snakes on the show. You know what I mean?
Well, next week I actually have a snake handler coming. Now that we're 13 minutes into the show and we haven't talked 1 second about football, I think it's time we probably start talking about
You
football.
think maybe we should jump on that a little bit? All right.
Yeah, probably.
Let me
So
start off. Let
go
me
ahead.
start
Yeah.
off real quick, because I wanna do a little shout out here. I want to say big thanks and props to Garrett Webster for posting out a bunch of great things. If you guys don't notice here, check this out. Right, so this is the right. We all know number 52, and those of us old schools, we really know who 52 is Mike Webster. Well, when I was a kid, Mike Webster was a hero of mine, and I played center and wore this number because of Mike Webster. And I played ball for 14 years. So, I mean, uh, he died. His anniversary of his death was the 24th of September. And I mean, I just want to say, that it's a real shame about how things went for him. He was a 9-time Pro Bowler, okay, a 4-time Super Bowl champion, okay, Hall of Famer, right? He was drafted in 1974 with all the rest of them guys. In the 5th round, right, from Wisconsin, Big Ten school. He was Big Ten All American when he played in college, right? He was part of the All 70s team. He was part of the All 80s team. Okay, this guy racked it up as far as accolades and the whole 9 yards. But I just wanted to shout out and just an anniversary of his passing. After he passed, they did diagnose him with CTE.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he was one of the first to sacrifice and donate his brain to the foundation for testing, and that's what happened. They discovered that he had CTE, and that's what it went down to. So I just want to say, Mike Webster was a big hero of mine, and the anniversary of his death, the 24th of September. Big shout out to Garrett Webster and the Webster family. Really appreciate all that you've done to help keep his legacy alive. Thank you very much. You get the salute.
Absolutely. That's important stuff, man. And advancing the science and stuff like that, I really respect that. There's a lot of
Foundation. There's
yeah.
a Chuck Noll Foundation. It's completely centered around. It's chucknollfoundation.org. Go there, support them. Chuck Noll was instrumental in helping to get this whole thing up off the ground. This foundation now has some of the best doctors on the planet that are doing all this research and everything.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good cause. It's definitely something to be taken seriously. I love the extra protection on the helmets that they're wearing now. I love that they're redesigning the helmets now to be able to take that kind of an impact.
Yeah, that technology has
mean?
been changing every year now. Every year you see a new shape, a new sort of whatever. And now,
Exactly.
like you alluded to, James Daniels is the first guy who's playing with the Guardian cap on. I don't know if you noticed that, but
Yep, that's why I was saying the extra
yeah,
protection. I couldn't
yeah,
think of it
no,
off the top of my head.
yeah, it's called the Guardian cap, and
Yep.
it's funny. I think they should just make it a plain color because it looks so silly when they try to put the helmet design on it, but yeah,
It
good.
does look a little odd.
Yeah. I mean, but shout out
Who
to him
cares?
for having the guts to do that. I always respect that, especially in a super macho kind of thing. It like football. Good for him, and especially offensive linemen, because back then we just didn't realize. People. I say this all the time on the show, but even in my age, like even in the time that I've been like old enough to watch and remember football, the thinking on concussions has changed so much. I mean, I remember not even that long ago, like literally around the time the Steelers won the first, not the first and second Super Bowl, but the Roethlisberger Super Bowls.
2005.
Yeah, even back then. I mean, no, you got a concussion and you're like, oh, he'll play next week. Like that was just, you didn't.
There was no protocol. There was nothing.
Yeah, there was no anything around it because it wasn't even just, we didn't know. Like literally, I mean, I think young folks especially have a tendency to think that a lot of our medical stuff is a lot older and more advanced than it really is, and so much of it truly has been developed in the last 20 years, honestly.
Less than that.
And concussions are one of those. I mean, no one was talking about concussions like a serious thing. It was just you
No.
got your bell rung, and those offensive linemen, defensive linemen, I mean, they were taking contact to the head with those terrible helmets that probably exacerbated injury more than helped it, honestly. And it's just no one knew. No one knew. It was just that's how it
You
was.
look at the offensive linemen's helmets even today,
Oh yeah.
and there's big scrapes and stuff off the side.
I
You know
remember
what I
having
mean?
that on my helmet and like Pop Warner football. Like I was literally running around like 9 years old. Why did I have scrapes on my helmet, dude? That's not good. That's not good.
You doing something right if you're getting scrapes on your helmet. Yeah,
Or
all right.
wrong. Or wrong.
Right or wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
But
it's
I
it's
got another one for you now.
go
Okay, you
ahead.
ready? Okay. So you have a really great nickname for our current starting quarterback. We're gonna say he's QB1,
Yeah.
right? Clearly he is, right?
Yeah,
3
Justin
weeks in,
Strawberry Fields.
right? All right. So my nickname for him is Justin Hot Reeds Field.
Okay.
All
I
right.
dig it.
Okay.
I dig
So
it.
I I know there's this the other elephant in the room here is all about what's going to happen with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and all this other stuff. And I want to ask you this question. Supposing that not this week, clearly, but next week, Russell Wilson's healthy and ready to play. Do you give him the chance? Do you sit Fields and put Russell Wilson in?
I'll answer that question by gesturing to everybody watching on YouTube to look at the screen around you and notice these beautiful AI generated strawberries that I've placed on the background. I ask you to take in the coordinated color scheme with the green and the red. And I ask you again, do you think I'm riding with Justin Strawberry Fields forever? And the answer is, of course, I'm riding with Strawberry Fields forever. No, I mean, not just to keep up the gimmick, but I've said it all along. I've had so many people come now, come at me being like, oh, you were so down on Justin Fields or whatever. What I said all off season, the few times I showed up out of my bat cave, the what I said all along was that I thought that while I was not necessarily excited about either option, I always said that I thought there was more point in Justin Fields starting at quarterback for the Steelers than there was Russell Wilson starting at quarterback for the Steelers, because what I heard from people that wanted and thought Russell should be the starter, no questions asked, et cetera, what I continued to hear was people who said, well, he wins Super Bowls and he can win a Super Bowl. And what I heard was people that were summarizing the way that they felt about Russell Wilson, the player, circa 2019, 2020. And they're not thinking about the guy who lost his job to Geno Smith. And no offense to Geno Smith, who's made a great career for himself. I'm just saying I saw what happened in Seattle. Okay. And honestly, and I have a friend who's a good Seattle, Seahawks fan. So like, I pay attention, like enough attention to what's going on over there. And they had, in my opinion, quite a similar last 5 years to the end of the Roethlisberger era, where, it's not that Russell aged out of being good, but he was getting hurt a good bit. And, he ultimately was made.
Weapons all got traded away. And
yeah, exactly. That you slowly erode, and then you drafted DK Metcalf, and But what happened was, this is what I take away: none of those dudes that played with Russell Wilson when they won championships seemed to mess with Russell Wilson. Like, say whatever you want about that, but none of those dudes really seem like they're friends with him. And I'm not saying you got to hang out and do dinner together and all that stuff. I'm just saying, like, when I look at like Ben's guys that he won championships with, they mess with him, okay? Like, they're his boys, like him and Pouncey. Not that Pouncey won a championship, but you know what I'm saying. Him and Al and Pouncey and those guys. What Russell Wilson, for whatever reason, we can't know because we live on the outside, but we can't know what it's like. But everywhere he's gone, he's been a divisive figure, and there aren't a lot of players that he played with that are coming out to support him. Like, that's my guy. That's my guy. Like, mostly they've kind of just flushed him away. And I'm not saying that's always fair either. But also in Justin Fields, I see a guy who I thought kind of was unfairly maligned in Chicago, did a decent enough job with what he was given, especially from a coaching perspective and a weapons perspective. I mean, they traded a second-round draft pick for Chase Claypool. We've all been making fun of them for that for 2.5 years now. But that was their answer to like, oh, we drafted a quarterback. We're going to go out and get Chase Claypool. Okay, good luck. Like, good job, like that. And so that tells you how inept that program is. And also everybody that played with Russell Wilson, and I've been seeing it now or played with Justin Fields, and I've been seeing it now in our comments this year. I've been having a lot of Bears fans show up on the comments this week, and almost unequivocally, they say stuff like, he's my favorite athlete, I'm still rooting for Justin, blah, 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 blah. And you don't see that from a lot of people, okay? A lot of players, especially a first-round pick that's considered a washed out, you're never going to see people feeling positive about them. So to end all, that's a long rant, all to say, I am riding with Justin Fields. I think he's the future. And even if he's not, I want to see what the rest of this year looks like. I don't care about Russell Wilson starting at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's a great backup quarterback. I think he's a great mentor. And I think the team is better with him here. So I'm not, trying to move on in any way, shape, or form. But I think that the Steelers at any point would be silly and short-sighted to bench Justin Fields for any reason other than injury this season. That's how strongly I feel 3 weeks in.
Okay. I would have to say that I was one of those people that was really excited about the fact that Russell Wilson was coming here. And I was very disappointed when the thought of Justin Fields coming here. Everything that I saw about Justin Fields in his time in Chicago doesn't even remotely come close to what he did when he was playing for Ohio State. And when I look at what he played for Ohio State, he kind of did a lot of the same things that he's doing right now. If the hot read guy ain't open, he's ducking. Okay? Now, that's all fine and great, and that's all good. But the problem is that you're picking the bad time to do that, as far as I'm concerned. You need more seasoning. You need to be able to have a little bit more balance. And it's okay to throw the ball away than to take a 3, 4, 6 yard sack when you don't need to. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you.
I'm embracing Justin Fields because he's our starting quarterback. He's QB1. All right. So I'm down with Justin Fields, but he's got a lot of room to grow. Okay. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as we keep winning and he keeps taking care of the ball, then we got the time to do that. Then we have an easy schedule at the very beginning so that he can work his way into that and get more comfortable with the Arthur Smith offense and the whole 9 yards, right? Because he didn't take a lot of until towards the end of training camp that he started taking more of the first round reps. You know what I mean?
He took them all camp because Russell Wilson got hurt on the first day of camp. He's been the starting. The reality is Justin Fields has been the starting quarterback of this team for 7 out of the last 8 weeks at this point.
I thought Russell had got hurt.
No, he got hurt in the conditioning drills because they had him pushing a stupid sled for some reason. I don't know why you ask a 35-year-old quarterback to push a sled, but that's how he got hurt. Well, you didn't hear about that?
No, I did not hear about what.
Yeah, and so that's how he got hurt. So so that's the thing is like I just look at it as, and I said this with Gage the other day. I just look at it as they've stumbled into something here that has given Justin Fields a really great landing patch. And it's made it so that there's no pressure on him, I mean, it was literally like you go out and you have an opportunity here, but you gotta reward the dog for taking, for grabbing the bone. You know what I'm saying? And like,
I'm with you.
And I think that if you have a kid like this who, you could say those things, but look Okay, sack percentage. He's been sacked 6 times in 3 games. Big deal. His first 3 years, this is the sack percentage: 11%, 14%, 11%. This year, 7.4%. He's only been sacked on 7% of his dropbacks. He only ran the ball 6 times this past week, and he had his most pass attempts yet as a Steeler. You know, and he's positively affecting things. His passer rating this week was 95.3. They're converting a way higher percentage of third downs compared to their opponents. I have no problem with him pulling it down because I think that that's what the NFL is now. I think that that's why you're seeing more running quarterbacks, because I think, yes, there's nothing wrong with throwing the ball away, but he hasn't needed to, because at the end of the day, he's completed 73% of his passes so far this season, which is like Drew Brees level completion percentage. I can't complain about that. And I'd rather him run for 2 yards because a 2nd and 8 is better than a 2nd and 10. So, you know, yeah, it's better. It's also, you know, a 2nd and 14 if he gets sacked. I understand what you're saying. But man, I don't know. When I come away from watching these games, I'm saying that's a guy who's positively affecting every down and every distance. And he forces the linebackers to have something else to think about. That's why the middle of the field's starting to open up for Freiermuth, et cetera, et cetera. And he's got the arm strength to get it outside on those little out patterns and button hooks to Calvin Austin, like the one he hit last week. I'm there, man. I see it. I see a guy whose arm and legs, I say, this is a quarterback in the NFL. I'm not saying he's competing with Josh Allen tomorrow, but do I at least see where the puzzle pieces are where I could believe that he might one day compete with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes? Yeah, I could see it. And I never could say that about Kenny Pickett. I could never say that about Mitchell Trubisky, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't think I'm going to say it about Russell Wilson at 35.
Yet. I ain't ready to hop on that wagon yet.
Okay.
But I will say this, okay? For him being the starter, I said I'm embracing it. You know what I mean? I'm more of a prefer the quarterbacks to be more of. I mean, you know, we got spoiled for how many years with Ben, right? Him being basically a gunslinger. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that as a quarterback. That to me, that I'd like that kind of game from a quarterback because that's a little swagger. You know what I mean? I'm just worried because, yeah, you're out there running around and making plays, but man, I'm just worried. That's all. I'm just worried because one hit, that's it, and you're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you could say that about anybody.
No,
Josh
I mean,
Allen.
You can say that about anybody, right? I get it, but the quarterback is a bit of a special position because our backup is Russell Wilson, and then, you know, then we go from there. You know what I mean? Which we haven't seen Russell play really for the Steelers. We've seen a few series where he sort of looked.
I'd argue, not even argue. I'd say without a question, the Steelers have the best backup quarterback position in the league. Whether you consider Russell Wilson or Justin Fields the backup quarterback, what backup quarterback in the NFL is better than either of those guys? I don't think either. I don't think any. So, like,
I think they're better than some of the starting quarterbacks.
Clearly. So, I mean, you know, for me, I just think you have stumbled into a situation here where you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. I think that this is just
to embrace that, man.
Yeah,
I
just think that this is a season. This has become a season when I was bummed out in the preseason, as everybody knows, because I was being such a drag all preseason. Like, oh, I'm so not excited, but the reason I felt that way was because I felt that there was nothing to look forward to, because I felt that, like, for the first time in a while, like, I don't know what this is, you know, like in 22, it was like, okay, we just drafted Pickett. Like, let's see what this is going to be. I wasn't hyped about Trubisky, but I was like, well, at least, you know, some point Pickett will get in and we'll see. And, you know, and then after that season, it was like, okay, hype. Like going into 23, everybody was hyped. I mean, you know, the perfect preseason. Kenny Pickett's going to take control. Like he'd won 6 out of the last 8 games. The defense is still really good. Yeah. And then it just fell off a cliff, and everything just happened the way it did. And we came into this season, and I thought that Tomlin was just anointing Russell Wilson the starter because he can't help himself. He loves a veteran kind of
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of thing, and he was going to give him the job even if Pickett stayed here for sure.
Mhm.
But then what happened is, we had a situation where we went out and we got Justin Fields to replace Pickett as a backup quarterback. And man, I just think I think that it's given me a sense of purpose for this season as a fan, where my sense of purpose has suddenly become, wait a second, this is kind of fun, and I want to see what is here. Okay, because we have 1 year to do it, and there's no investment beyond that. Like, you don't have to stick with it next year. You can go to Wilson if it explodes. It doesn't, or you can just draft again. There's nothing to lose, but there's everything to gain, because if Fields works out and look, they're 3-0. All right. He's basically got to go 500 the rest of the way to have a chance at winning 10 or 11 games. Okay. That's a pretty good season, and that would be a real improvement off of the last couple of seasons. And if that's the case, then you say, I think I found a quarterback, man. I mean, especially if he continues to play within the constraints of the system and embraces it. It seems like him and Tomlin are simpatico. They really seem to like each other. The best case scenario with Wilson was always going to be like, okay, so maybe you get back to the playoffs and win a playoff game again. But is there any world where you really thought, oh, we're a Super Bowl winning team this year with 36-year-old Russell Wilson? I didn't think so. And I didn't think it's very likely. And the most likely thing is that you'd be searching for a quarterback again in 2 years. So I'm sorry to rant, but I'm excited
Or
about
one.
Fields, man. I just think that that's what this season has become about, is seeing if he can be the guy.
I have to tell you that I'm slowly embracing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard for me to I I try not to be critical, and I try not to be
Yeah.
and I try to give people the opportunity and the chance, and so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm saying, well, hey man, the guy's winning games. Look, everything is better when you win,
Right.
right? But so now I want to see what happens when we lose a game or two, and how
What if
he
they never
plays.
do?
And you really think that's going to happen?
Hey, I don't know. They're undefeated right now. They got a good chance. They got
Oh,
a
I'm
good
going to tell
chance.
you. I think, yeah,
Honestly,
I'm with
if
it.
you look at the schedule, there's a good chance that they go something like 6-1, 7-2. Like,
Before the bye.
yeah. And, if
Yeah.
that's the case, then you're starting to say, wait a second, should I be giving Justin Fields a contract extension in the middle of the season? Because that's the only thing you could do, is that if he ends up having some monster year, he's going to have the Steelers over a barrel, because they're going to have to pay him a lot of money.
And that's kind of a win-win for Pittsburgh, though, ain't
It
it?
is. It is.
So go prove yourself.
Yeah.
Go get that contract,
Well,
boy.
isn't that like, I mean, I know you said you're skeptical and you like a certain other type of quarterback, and also you're a Penn State fan, but like, no, but
So
I mean it.
what's that
I'm
got
just
to do
saying,
with anything?
I'm just prefacing it of like, of the 5-star gang. You're the most oppositional, I would say, towards Fields of the three
Yeah.
of me, Gage, and
Yeah.
and most of the Discord server. I'm just having an argument for the sake of radio. I'm just saying, like,
Gotcha.
you're the most kind of anti Fields, but I think I just have to say, like, on its surface level, don't you want to root for this kid though? Like, isn't it a great, like, if he really does just find himself here and he's just like, you know what, I'm so thankful for this second chance, and he really just takes off and his career just lifts off, like, I think that's a hell of a story, man.
And that's kind of what I'm building to here. Right? That's exactly what this is. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. Make me eat crow.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, this is how it is, right? I'll give you a little off football reference for you, okay? Are you familiar with John Tortorella?
The hockey coach. Yeah,
Yeah.
he used to coach the
He's
Rangers.
coached Rangers.
My friends are Rangers fans. Yeah.
All right. When he was coach of the Rangers, this guy was so outspoken and
Yeah.
so it was the John Tortorella show when he was out there on the mic, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And okay, and I had a hard time with him as a person, making it all about him. You know what I mean? Saying the things that he was doing, carrying on the way he was carrying on. I really felt that was unprofessional, the whole 9 yards. What you don't see then is when the guy comes to your team and now suddenly he's the coach of your team. Now what? Okay, well, what are you going to do for me now that you're here? Now that you're here, now you get to see he did mature. He did learn from his lessons in New York, right? And then Vancouver. And now he is more calculated about what he said, right? Okay,
Right.
he's more mature about how he handles things.
And it's a
Now,
little, let's be fair, it's a little bit of Heinz Ward syndrome, though, where you love him if he's on your team and you hate him if he's not. You know, Heinz Ward,
I didn't
Draymond
care.
Green.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
see, I didn't care because he
Okay.
wasn't. He never felt. I never felt like I was threatened by his teams.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
right?
the
So
Rangers usually collapse in the playoffs.
like I said, I never felt threatened by any of his teams. But when he was coaching the Tampa Bay Lightning, took them to the Stanley Cups and won the Jack Adams Award, which is the best coach of the year.
Oh, was he the
right?
coach with like Stamkos when they won and stuff? Like the good teams where they won a few times, right? Didn't they win
No,
two?
he was the one where Martin St. Louis.
Oh, earlier.
Yeah, earlier,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
He was the one that won them their first cup in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So that was Martin St. Louis and Vinny LeCavalier.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Won a Jack Adams Award. That's for the best coach. Okay. And then as you see more and more about this guy and more information is revealed, you get to see, well, he cares a lot about the players. And a lot of the players that he used to coach are coming out and saying, hey, man, yeah, this guy's going to run a real tough camp. And it's going to be real hard, but you're going to love this coach because he's fighting for you. Right. So I had to say I was not happy about him coming to Philadelphia. I did not like the idea that he was hired, the whole 9 yards. I thought they were making a mistake. I thought he was the absolute wrong coach, the whole 9 yards. Here we are now 3 seasons in, and I have completely eaten crow, reversed 180 degrees, and feel that he is the best coach for this team right now.
Of course.
Okay? So that's what I want to see. I want to see Justin Fields prove me wrong. Make me eat crow. I'm a little critical because I've watched this team for over 35 years. Okay?
Yeah.
So I can be critical, right?
He's, I mean, that's the gig, right? Is you gotta prove the naysayers wrong. And I just, I mean, I don't know. I shout out Bear Pod, by the way, dropping another $1.99 in the chat. We love you.
Boom, shout
Be
out.
like
Hey.
Be like Bear Pod, drop a 5-star fiver in the chat. Go over to patreon.com/5SMU. You know how we do, help out the show. We're grassroots fam, we're just a little operation here.
And being a little operation means that you get personalized treatment from the main man, Pots and Pans, sitting over here, right? All you have to do is type on over to patreon.com/5SMU and get yourself signed up. When you do get signed up for it, you get all kinds of great access to the main man. You get the full show without ads, the whole 9 yards, right? And are they still in the drawing, or did that?
No, we did that on Tuesday. I got to send those out. A couple people won. Yeah, a couple people won $50 NFL shop gift cards. We did a drawing on air, me and Gage.
Yeah, I saw the wheel.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I contacted those two people. Got to get them out their gifts.
Nice.
Again, people, like I said, I'm in the process of getting married, so give me a break. I know I owe some people envelopes and stuff. I'll get you. My life is insane right now. I cannot articulate it enough, but we appreciate you hanging out if and when you do hang out.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
What was I gonna say? Oh, Easy Rollins dropped another $2 in the chat. Steelers 13-4 minimum. I love the confidence, my man. We love to see it.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Listen, they're 3-0. Oh, what's that? 13-4. That means you gotta go 10-4 the rest of the way. That's not crazy.
Not too bad. That's not too bad. You know what we haven't talked about? The namesake of the show.
The Steelers defense? Yeah, I know. I know. That's how it always happens.
Haven't mentioned one word about the defense, and all we've done was talk about the quarterback. Let me just say, first of all, this. Broderick Jones needs to stay where he is. That is his natural position. They should have never have moved him away. Look, we joked about it on our first show of the season when it was the three of us, and we said, oh, yeah, versatility. Yeah, no. Okay? Seriously, no. Leave him there, right? You saw the pancake against Bosa again in the Chargers, right?
I did. I just have to stop you real quick because longtime listener Jaden Kloss dropped 5-star 50 in the chat. What a legend. He must be a rich. He must be a. Then it says it's his first super chat on a live stream. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but are you kidding me? Like, hell yeah! Thank you for the support. That's freaking dope. What a legend.
Holy moly! Hey, by the way, you get the official song. Happy birthday, doodle doodle doodle. Happy birthday, doodle doodle doodle. Happy birthday, doodle. Jaden Kloss. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Jaden. I appreciate you. If I had booze in the house, I would absolutely do a shot of liquor on the stream right now. I don't have any, but I will get you. I promise I will do a shot in your honor. Appreciate you. That's so awesome.
Wow, thank you.
Why are you listening to 5-star matchup? Go party, my man. Go have some fun. Go do something. But appreciate you. That's legendary. He says, my question is, can our offense go to the next level and not lose in the wild card this year because our defense is Super Bowl level, I believe. Hey, I'm with you, man. What I said last year and what I continue to say all the time is we just needed an offense that was capable. And that's where we already are. We're already at a point where I'm not watching these games where I'm saying, oh my God, they just threw the entire first half away. And that's what we did so often with Canada, right? We would have just a whole first half. I remember that Browns game last year where I just wanted to rip my hair out of my head because it just was so incredibly inept.
Yeah, please don't do that. I don't think your future wife would appreciate that.
No, I know. It's my trademark. Are you kidding me? But it was so painful to watch. It was this thing where you just you were like, they were playing Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and I don't remember how many points the Browns scored, but they didn't score a lot of points. And I remember the Steelers just had 100 chances in a row to just go score a freaking touchdown, and they would have won the game going away, piece of cake. And they just could not do it. And I just haven't felt that for a second this year. I mean, they have been, whatever you want to say about Fields, one read, he's scrambling too much, whatever. They're getting into third and shorts, and they're converting them, and they're
winning the chains.
They're moving. They're keeping the drives going, and they're keeping the defense off the field. I saw something this week. I forget what the numbers were exactly, but the Steelers defense so far this season has played something like 65 snaps less through 3 games than they did last year. And that's a game. That's a whole game. That's an entire other game, 60 to 70 snaps. That's a pretty normal football game, I believe. Something like that, 60 to 80 maybe.
Yep.
And so that's huge. That's 33% less work through 3 games. I mean, if you think about where the collective meter was in terms of the TJ Watts and the Cam Haywards and just all that kind of stuff. Oh, I guess we're just having one of those nights. Thanks. I love these Thursday shows because randomly 20 people will be watching, but then just people start donating insane amounts of money. Michael,
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. Oh man, thank you so much. Wow.
Michael Becchetti, fellow Italian like me, I would assume, $20. That game hurt my soul. I am so glad the offense isn't painfully predictable. Yeah, I guess he's talking about the Browns game. That
we were
was just
talking
so
about. Yeah.
brutal.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
I remembered speaking of having a drink for Jaden's birthday, I remembered that we had plans that night for my soon-to-be wife's birthday, in fact, after that Browns game. And I remembered going there, and I was like just so bummed because nothing bothers me. I'm over the regular losses, but losing to the Browns still hurts for me. I still hate it. I feel sick to my stomach. I'm just used to Ben beating them by 50 points. I just
every time.
And I remember we went to this sushi restaurant that had unlimited sake, and I got, unfortunately, too far, like very, very hammered.
You indulged a little bit too much sake.
Too much. And there's a famous rant in the Discord server, which you can join, patreon.com/5SMU, where I just drunkenly ranted about how much I hated the Browns and how the game didn't matter because the Steelers were still going to go this and that, and they were going to win, and the Browns were going to be stuck with Deshaun Watson. And if anybody in the chat, Black Rain probably remembers. He was definitely probably one of the people there in the Discord when I did this, and I was just like going off. So that's the kind of stuff you get. That's the access you get if you're on the 5-star Patreon. That's what you need to do. I gotta trust my patrons, because I make some regrettable decisions, but my fans are so cool. No one calls me out on it, but thank you so much.
Eddie said that you pronounced his name right.
Yeah, right? I mean, I'm an Italian. What do you want from me? Like, of course I'm gonna pronounce it.
See, this is why we all get along right here, fellow Guinea, right here too. Yeah.
Where were we? Defense. Right. Yeah, the Steelers' defense has been.
Here's what I want to say though about what you just said about the 64 to 70 or 80 plays that they played less in the first 3 games. That was the biggest problem with the Steelers the last 2 years, was that the offense was never out there long enough, and they were never able to generate 2, 3, 4 sustained drives a game to kind of give your defense a blow.
Right.
When your defense is out there all the time, man, that's a long game for them. Okay, because they have no. I've always heard that an offense plays their best when they're going downhill. And that means they're on a rhythm. That means that everybody's on the same page. That means that they're rocking and rolling. They get a couple, they're winning the change just like they've been doing these last 3 games. That's why they're winning. Okay? They're winning the chains. The defense isn't out there all game long, right? And the defense, let's face it, is historically awesome right now. They're only allowing 8.9 points a game and 229 yards a game of total offense.
Whoa. I'm sorry to stop you. It's 8.6 points per game, my friend.
Sorry.
Okay? We are not simpletons at 5-star matchup. We do math correct. It's 8.6 points per game. Okay, we are not Steelers Depot out here quoting random numbers. We are 5-star matchup. We get $70 in chat donations from 20 people. Are you kidding me? Our fans are the best people in the world. But no, it's 8.6.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's 8.6 points per game, but point stands. They're phenomenal, and it's hard to find what the weakness is because right now I'm enamored with the ad at. I almost said shortstop, strong safety. I love Deshaun Elliott. He's been fantastic, great in the box safety. I liked him. I
love how Beanie Bishop has been playing.
Bishop has that Mike Hilton aura going, and don't forget, you got Cam Sutton coming back after the midway point of the season, which I don't know if there's a spot for him right now, but your team is better if you got a guy like Cam Sutton on the bench, as an insurance policy. That's a really good.
And the favorite son.
Yeah,
and the favorite son
Cookie's favorite son
in the wings.
Well, who knows? I don't know if there's because with KZ and the but still, again, great insurance policy. Suddenly, the Steelers have become a very deep team. That's one thing. Like they don't have the they don't have the rosters you look at like the Bills or the Chiefs or whatever, where you're like, man, top to bottom, they're stacked. But those teams, as they've started to have to pay the quarterbacks, they're becoming less stacked. Like you see that, like that's, the Chiefs the last couple of years have struggled with that receiver position. The Bills, they're in kind of a spot where you're almost like who some of the positions, like you're like, who are these people? Because I know a lot of their guys have moved on, but that's what happens when you have to pay the quarterback a massive chunk of the salary cap. But the Steelers have become a very deep team, and especially cornerback position. I love Dante Jackson. He's been great. All I heard was that he was a speed demon. I didn't know he could tackle. He looks like Ike Taylor out there. I mean, he's making big tackles in the run game. And if you have two tackles like him and Joey on the other side, it's giving me shades of, honestly. And to relate this back to Russell Wilson, it's given me Legion of Boom vibes. Remember, they used to have those big cornerbacks, Richard Sherman, and those guys. Was it Browner on the other side? I forget the other corner.
Thomas was one of them.
Yeah, and then they had the big hitting strong safety, Cam Chancellor, and then they had Earl Thomas at free safety. That's kind of Minka. And I love this pairing with cornerback. And I'm just gonna say it again. You and me said it last week. I say it on the radio every time, but Joey Jr. just continues to impress me, and I think he's on track to being honestly truly like a all-pro caliber player. I think he's really there because all I heard is just the physical. He's grabby. He almost never gets penalties. I mean, he really almost never gets penalties. So I'm enamored with him. I think he's shut down.
He learned at Penn State because, man, I'll tell you, his first couple years there at Penn State, he was flagged a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And look, you learn. Okay. Yeah. And you learn how to do those things. You learn I love his physicality. He's got the perfect body to play that position because he's long, he's got good reach, and the kid's got some speed, and he's not afraid to lay a lick. And that's what I love about him, man. He's got his dad's, bulldog mentality. I'm coming. Yeah. Right? All day, I'm coming. Right? That's what I love about Joey Porter Jr. And when they drafted him, I was like, oh, yeah, they got a good boy on that one. Oh my God.
No, he's fantastic, man.
I love the backfield.
Yeah.
I love
the secondary. The secondary is great. The defense, the linebackers, obviously outside backer. We're going to see more of Nick Herbig now going forward because
now that Highsmith is down a little bit.
Yeah, so that's hopefully they said it's not too major with Highsmith, which is a good thing because that's one where I just want to caution people because I've seen so many people that are so excited about Herbig because he has been very effective in limited play. And I think he's going to be a good player, but I have seen a lot of this people already like, oh, he's already better than Alex Highsmith. And I just like, Alex Highsmith is a really good football player, okay? He's like, again, I have to remind people sometimes he had 15 sacks the year CJ was hurt, okay? I'm not sure there are 10 edge rushers better than Alex Highsmith in the league. Like, I think we might genuinely have the first and like the 7th or 8th best pass rusher in the league. So, and that's not just long. Pass rusher.
And then you sprinkle in a little Patrick Queen.
Mm-hmm. And he's great. And he's great. And he's great. This is the concern. This is my concern, dude, is that Nick Herbig is small. And the underrated thing about Alex Highsmith is that Alex Highsmith is great against the run. He's great at setting the edge, just like Bud Dupree was at his position, where even if they don't have a game as a pass rusher, that edge is going to be taken care of. And that's the one thing that does worry me about with Herbig a little bit. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Steelers mask this because an NFL team, if they run at Herbig, they're going to have some success. He's small. He is. He just is. He's not going to
get run over.
So it's how are they going to mask that and how are they going to deal with it? But please don't ever look at an athlete like Alex Highsmith and just the build. Sometimes it's just a matter of you're just that dude. And Alex Highsmith is just that guy in terms of being able to just plug and play size. Like he's just there.
You got lats that stick up to your ears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you get these shoulders muscles here that stick up like that far, that's a real human being right there. You know what I'm saying? Right. Alex Highsmith, listen, I was very, very, very high on him when he was drafted. Was very high on him in college. Um, I think that matching him with TJ has been the ultimate success story for the Steelers, and ultimately exactly what you said, Steve. We've gotten probably the best tandem, outside tandem right now in the league.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Because
Yeah.
they're both literally in the top like 7 or 8. I don't know that there are 8 pass rushers better than Alex Highsmith. Truly.
No, no, no. I'm with you. And that's saying a lot because you got two Bosa guys out there. You got,
Yeah.
I mean, still there's a lot of people out there, and but I think that Alex Highsmith, yeah, he's definitely
So it's a loss, but I mean it should be only 2 or 3 weeks with him, and hopefully Herbig. I mean maybe he'll show up, another young guy stepping up, and then the middle. We haven't talked about the middle backers. Queen, hasn't really made his mark yet, and I know some are rushing to
but I
say
like how he's playing.
Yeah.
I like how he's playing.
Yeah, he's flowing. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
talented physical player. But the one that continues, a lot of people want to talk about Peyton Wilson too. He's the classic like Yinzer. Like as soon as they drafted him, I was like, oh, that's going to be the guy that the Yinzers are in love with. And,
Right.
and no, I mean much respect, but I the guy, and Bearpod says it in here. The guy that impresses me every time he's on the field is Big E, Landon Roberts. Man, he is a good football player. He's
And
the kind
Brenton?
of he's the kind of guy. He reminds me of he's I think probably a better player maybe, but he reminds me a lot of one of my uncle's favorites from back in the day is Larry Foote. Larry Foote was not a guy that
Easy.
yeah, no one ever gave Larry Foote like credit. He wasn't somebody because he wasn't Farrier. Farrier was like the guy that was like, okay, he's the green dot guy. Foote was always kind of the second middle backer. But I always felt in a lot of ways that he was the one that enabled a lot of that defense to work because he was
sucked up the.
he did. He was side to side, but he could also pass rush. And then they're very similar. More recently, I think Vince Williams was that guy who he was the second in command to Shazier. He wasn't the kind of guy that is going to get the Pro Bowl votes, but he's the kind of guy that enabled the All Pro to be the All Pro. And I think once these two, Roberts and Queen, get used to working together, you're going to see Roberts enable Queen to be a more dynamic player, and that's when you're going to start to see the picks happen. He almost had a pick this week. He just didn't, or was it last week? I don't remember, but
it was this week.
Yeah, and he just didn't.
Herbert.
He couldn't catch it. But I loved Larry Foote, man.
I'm with you on that too, man. Was he the one that coined it, or was it James Farrier that coined it's a 5-star matchup because we in it?
Oh, I think that was Mike Tomlin. I think that's a Mike Tomlin line.
Oh, because
they would say it, but it was Tomlin who said it. That was like his. Yeah, he said it. But shout out, by the way, he said it in the post game, and somebody told me some of the players said it too. I've been going long enough now, and these guys in the league are young enough that players have to have seen my show, right? I think so. Like I think, right? Like they have to have seen. Some of them have to have seen my show.
At least a short or two. I mean, oh, by the way, shout out to the main man, Amfram, for all of the amazing shorts that he does.
Oh, Frame, yeah.
Take a bow, young man.
Yeah, our social editor, Frame, is unbelievable. He's the one who comes through all the YouTube shorts you see on the channel. He's the one who does all that. He does
them for our channel too, baby.
They're phenomenal. If you need somebody to help you with stuff like that on your little project, hire Frame. He is the coolest. He is a machine, and he mills through the content. And now I don't even see it. I get this will probably be a short. He'll probably make this a short to make fun of me, where I don't even see like stuff. Like I just get content of myself in my algorithm, and I'm like, I've never seen that. I don't know what that, because I don't remember what I say half the time on the streams. I get in here and I start screaming about the Steelers. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You know what else? I'll tell you somebody else that's really impressed me too is the guy that we brought in to replace the kicker.
Corliss Waitman, yeah.
Yeah, our new punter.
I called
Man,
him Black Cam Johnston on the show. No, he's been great. I think he leads the league in average net punt.
I mean,
Yeah.
hey, we
Can't
found
doesn't
two punters.
Yeah, it
We
doesn't get any
found
better
two
than
punters.
that.
Hey,
Doesn't get any better than that.
but it's amazing how when you don't have that position locked
Oh
down,
yeah.
how it affects your game and how it affects the outcome of the game. Because always pinning the opposition deep instead of giving it to them with a short field.
Listen, it can be the biggest turning point. What I always say about special teams in general is you usually have a lot more to lose than you do to gain, right? And that's why you just need, like, I always go back to, I remember Josh Miller, I remember Daniel Sepulveda,
Oh yeah,
Norm Johnson, or no, that was a kicker.
kicker, yeah.
Who was the punter they had before Josh Miller? I'm trying to
Oh,
go real old school. Huh?
Brad Straw was there for a
Yeah,
while.
whatever. But the point is like
Woo.
you just need a competent kicker, right? You just need one that's going to consistently do what they're asked to do. And Presley Harvin just, God bless him, just was not that. I acknowledge that he went through some adversity, lost his dad. I think it was last year during the season. Like I did the same, and I wasn't trying to be a professional athlete, and it was hard for me. So I get that. But he just wasn't a consistent enough punter to stay in the NFL. And Waitman has just been fantastic. And I still think, honestly, so far this season, the single most impactful play of the season so far was what I put as the play of the game week 1. Chris Boswell's punt. People don't that was so important. That was so important. If he shanked one, it would have been so easy for the team to just go into a and just say, well, F it, and they're 30 yards away, and Cousins scores a touchdown, and the Falcons win that game, and maybe we're 1-2, and Russell Wilson is the starter this week. Like I think that
Whoa.
that play was huge, man, and that just
Wow.
shows you. I think it underlines, like, if you were to say to me right now, what's been the single most impactful moment of a game this season, I genuinely think it was that play, and that shows you that punting can really have that impact.
And I would have to say that I think that game was the single most turning point in the season so far. I mean, I know it was the first game and everything, but I think a lot of things were brought to light, or the statements were made in that game. I think that game pretty much said that, hey, look, the Steelers are going to be here this year.
Yeah.
Okay. And we may not do it pretty, and it's, some of them are going to be ugly. You know what I mean? And that's okay, because I don't care about that stuff. I don't care if we win 16-15 every week. Okay, don't care. All I care about is the W's.
Yeah. No, I'm
You're
with you.
putting W's up there, man. Everything is good.
I'm
right?
with you. I'm with you.
All
totally.
you have to do is look back at the Killer Bees and all of the controversy and everything that was going on, but nobody cared or paid any attention to that stuff because the team was kicking butt and winning.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody paid attention to it. It's all any of us talked about all week, every week.
But what I'm saying is that it didn't affect it to the point where the team still kept winning.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point there.
You were able to overlook some of those things because, well, the team is winning.
Well, I definitely see your point there, and I think that, like, that's also part of why I feel so strongly about full steam ahead with Strawberry Fields, because I just look at the core of the team, right? And as I said last year, it didn't feel to me, anytime any of the skill players talked to the media, it didn't feel to me like Najee Harris or George Pickens really had any deep, true belief that when they got in a huddle with Kenny Pickett was going to take them down the field and score a touchdown, and they were going to put up 30 points and win a game. I don't think they ever felt that way. And I think that you saw that the way that they all reacted once Rudolph finally got into the game and started actually delivering them the ball with an opportunity to do stuff with it, how the whole vibe of the team completely changed. It completely changed. And it should have been obvious in retrospect that Pickett wasn't going to come back, because I'll never ever forget that the look on his face on that game when they were against was it Baltimore? Yeah, it was Baltimore, the last game of the season or second to last game of the season, and it was absolutely pouring, and Rudolph led him to another win, and he had this big interview, the big sideline interview, going off. Was that a Sunday night broadcast, something
I
like
think
that?
so.
And
I think
yeah, because I remember him talking like on and I just remembered how I put it in the show, I think, how just like he just was like, I didn't expect to have this opportunity, and I got this opportunity and I took care of it, and it was beautiful. It was like I was genuinely like kind of emotional, because I watched this guy like his whole career be like somebody that I was constantly on the internet like, hey, like, he's not that bad, like he deserves an opportunity, whatever. And he, go back to the theme of Fields. He took advantage of the opportunity, got paid in the offseason. He's going to be starting for Tennessee soon because Will Levis is
yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
And so good for him. But I just
Yeah.
remember how just defeated Kenny Pickett looked on the sideline that day. And I just remember the constant shots of him, and he was completely by himself. He wasn't talking to the other quarterbacks. He wasn't chatting with the receivers. And it was just this image of like, there's so clearly a divide here. And what I'm seeing this year is the exact opposite. I'm seeing guys that just are absolutely feeling the vibe with each other.
It's
That
fun. I'm
that
having
touchdown
fun.
that touchdown run that Fields had, just the celebration, it was so natural. There was no like organized, oh, we're gonna do a dance. It just they mobbed the guy. They were happy for him. You could tell there was belief. And that's, I think, what really matters with a position like, whether it's like closer or pitcher in baseball, goalie in hockey, quarterback in football. You have part of it is that you have to have the belief of the people around you that you're good enough to do it. And I think right now that's what Fields has with this team. And I just, I think that's where we're at. And I don't know.
So I'm gonna let it go, man. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna let it go. I'm just gonna let it fly, man.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let it fly. Okay, look, as long as we're winning,
Yeah.
okay, then don't mess with it. Um, one of the things that I have noticed about what Justin Fields has been doing, and I know we're getting back into the offense again, after briefly discussing the defense.
Oh, yeah, real quick. I'll add to that defense real quick. I just because I did want to say, because we didn't talk about the most unheralded part, which is the D line, and no one ever talks about the defensive line. And Cam is out here playing like a 26-year-old man. Much respect. Year 13, I think it is 14, maybe even. Just phenomenal. Larry Ogunjobi never gets any credit. Really, really good player.
And Benton,
And Keanu Benton is a beast,
he's becoming one of my favorites, by the
Yeah,
way.
no, he's phenomenal. He's got shades of when Javon Hargrave broke through and became a really good player. Benton, I just see it, man. I saw it
Every
since
week,
last year as a rookie. He's just a guy you can't keep off the field. He is
every week he gets
phenomenal.
better. Every
Yeah.
week he gets better, and I really like what they've done and how they've done that rotation. Because see, that goes to that what you talked about a little earlier is the depth that
Mm-hmm.
they have. Because they have 3 or 4 guys now, they can rotate around on that defensive line and keep everybody fresh. You know what I
Right.
mean? Plus, you kind of have to do that now with a 13-year vet with Hayward. He's not going to be out there every snap. You know what I mean? He's going to be out there on third downs and special situations, things like
Right.
that. And you know what I mean? He's going to play a couple of series, throughout the game and everything. But he's probably going to have monitored snaps. You know
Of
what I mean? To
course.
keep
Yeah.
him fresh, right? Which that's what I would do if I was coach. I'd be keeping him. So with that being said, now Colts are the next team on the docket, and quite frankly, I I don't have any reservations at all about coming out and saying that I think that Pittsburgh's going to dominate this game on both sides of the ball.
They should. I don't know that I don't know that I'm there ever with the Steelers where I could say, "Oh, they're going to dominate this game," because that's just not how the Steelers, ever really play. But I think that if a couple trends hold true, they should win it handily. And it all like always comes back to the quarterbacks for me. So far, Richardson has been terrible this year.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
hasn't done real
terrible.
well.
He's been very
Yeah,
bad, very inaccurate. His completion percentage is less than 50%, I think.
and he's running
Um,
for his life.
exactly. So and so you got to watch the mobility with him. Obviously, you can hurt you on the ground, but the Steelers usually handle mobile quarterbacks really well. You just got to keep things in front of you. He's got a strong arm, but not an accurate one.
Right.
And he's been turning it over a lot. So, yeah, I think Indy should have a difficult time on offense. But the Steelers, they again, we're just still learning so much about this Art Smith offense. And we don't know, we don't really know really what it is yet. Like we have liked what we've seen for the most part, and I have liked what I've seen for the most part, and I do have belief in Justin Fields,
No.
but at the same time, the sample size just isn't that big. Like,
Right.
so it's, I can't sit here and say, oh, now it's going to be linear progression. They're going to go out and get 30 this week. They might have trouble this week. It's just sometimes a
Yeah.
matchup is tough for you and,
Here's the
whatever.
thing.
But they should win. They should win.
Here's the thing that I've seen consistently now for the past 3 games, and you already mentioned it, and that's one of the things that really helps you win the chains. It really helps you to win the down and distance battle is when you can hit a receiver in stride, or
Yeah.
when you can hit a receiver to where they have some open field or they can make a move. Do you know what I'm saying? Where the Steelers really haven't had that much over the last couple of years based off of scheme and based off of how the ball was being delivered, right? And I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Arthur Smith's schemes, not just the passes over the middle, but some of the wrinkle plays. I'm also liking some of the blocking schemes that I'm seeing. Like I really pay attention to that specifically. And that's why I was so upset when they tried to move Broderick Jones over out of his natural position because when they run behind him in his natural position, they have a lot of success. Okay, because the guy, I really feel that him playing his natural position is all that much more better for this offensive line all day long.
Agreed.
Okay,
I think
and
Sayamalu is good to come back this week, too. Isn't he practicing?
I think so. Yeah, I believe that's what I saw. I think he was limited practice, is what I believe I saw on the injury report for today. Right, and he's going to be a big plus because all day long he's better than Dan Moore. And I think that's been one of the few areas where I would have to complain a little bit on the offense would be Dan Moore's play. I mean, look, all day long the offensive line has done pretty good with shuffling around and some injuries, and then losing Fontenot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just
That's a
can't. I
big
mean,
blow.
I can't. Dan Moore is such a common scapegoat, and I just can't complain about the performance of the offensive line this year. Because you
Right.
know what, they have what I look for in an offensive line is, are you finishing strong in the fourth quarter with your run game, and is the quarterback under constant duress? And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, Fields hasn't been pressured that much. Um,
Well,
six sacks in
yeah,
3 games is nothing.
I think he's got okay, but maybe only 6 sacks, but he seems like he's not really sometimes very sure about what he's trying to do with the ball.
I mean, I think he's just trying to make sure he doesn't make a mistake. He's trying to play mistake-free ball. I don't
Well,
think, I mean, it's not like he's sitting back there Peyton Manning-esque, like
oh no, no.
dissecting 5 reads. That's not what they're asking him to do. But I don't have a problem with the offensive line. I didn't have a problem with the offensive line last year. Yeah, the center position could have been better, but honestly, for the most part, I thought the line was more than competent, and you saw it once Mason Rudolph took over. A bad quarterback that doesn't have any timing and doesn't know how and when to get rid of the football makes the offensive line look way worse than it does because it magnifies the way that it looks. And then you
Exactly.
start to think, oh, it's their fault.
Yeah.
Honestly, Pickett had a ton of time at times last year. He would bail out of pockets that were so clean. And, Fields, that's the thing, though, is I think, not to go back to this, but if you're talking about like, okay, I want to see a guy that's like a pocket passer, I think it's almost a good sign for him to take a sack here or there because that means he's not bailing out and trying to run immediately. He's actually trying to look to a second and third read and make something happen. You're going to get sacked. Tom Brady got sacked. Peyton Manning got sacked. Are you getting sacked a lot? He's getting sacked 2 times a game. I mean, that's to me, that's whatever. That's not.
That's
I'm
the way
not.
it is.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
have no
worried about
problem with
that
the
either.
line and the to me the fortification in the middle with Zach Frazier has been phenomenal. I mean, I don't think he's probably got to be the best rookie in the league so far this year, and it's probably not even arguable. Pro Football Focus is giving him like a 95 plus grade on run and pass blocking last week. Come on, that's ridiculous.
For a rookie center. Now, we
That's
saw that with
unbelievable.
Pouncey, right? Pouncey came in as a rookie and started because look how good he was. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? I have been overly impressed with our center Frazier. He's got all the tools. He's doing all the right things,
Yeah, he's
and
fantastic.
I see there. See, I pay attention to those kind of things because, well, I used to play center, so I watch that a lot. You know what I mean? I rewind and fast forward stuff a lot because I want to see how they're setting their gaps. I want to see how they're handling the double teams. I want to see how the guard pulls and the center follows right behind. I like to see that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That gives me the warm and fuzzies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing linemen do their job. Yeah.
No, and and like Michael Becchetti dropped another 5-star fiver in the chat. What a legend. Dan Moore must be happy that his quarterback doesn't bail to the left for no reason. And yeah, I do think he's probably really happy about that. Drop a 5-star fiver in the chat, like Michael, if you want to wish a farewell to Kenny Pickett and his era as Steelers quarterback.
See you, bye, buddy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just, I don't have I don't have complaints right now. I mean, I feel like things are moving in a good direction really everywhere. You can't feel anything but great about the defense.
3-0, man.
And I think you gotta feel good. I think you gotta feel good about the run game, and I think you gotta feel good about the pass game with Fields. And I think that another thing we haven't mentioned so far tonight, but the wide receiver 2 thing, which I've been harping on for months now, I still think they need another body there because I just don't think it's good enough with Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin, although Calvin Austin has been playing nicely the last couple weeks.
I haven't seen much out of Van.
Yeah, Van. Well, he missed most of this last game. He got poked in the eye or something. But
okay.
But I don't think it's that's not a guy that you want to be playing. Yeah, you need another body there. They don't need to trade for Devontae Adams, but they need another just professional quality. Cortland Sutton. They just need like a guy who No, he's on the Chiefs. They signed him right back because they're smart. Yeah, I knew they would.
You signed him. Oh,
yeah,
snap.
I knew they would. He was so good with them. I never got that. I never got why they didn't re-sign him. He was so good that year with the Chiefs. He was huge. People forget. I'm gonna shout out because my guy, you guys know I love Juju, always have, made the game-winning play in the Super Bowl. He drew the pass interference that gave them the first down to finish that Super Bowl. He made a play. Okay, it doesn't go on the stat sheet, but Juju made that play. Always a talented player. Unfortunately,
the fact that I'm reaching down to go, hey, Juju was still available. I mean,
I know. I
had a chance.
I would have signed him. I said it. I would have signed him. Easy.
Yeah, I signed him.
But
one more thing I want to ask you though. What do you think about this? The finalists, the list of finalists have come out. For the Hall of Fame. and there's some names on there from the Black and Gold.
Sure.
Clearly, Heinz Ward and James Harrison leading that group. But I believe we got to see is Farrier on the list now, and Big Snack.
Oh, is it?
I think so. They're part of the finalist group, and Heinz Ward too.
Yeah.
So I think you and I both agree that Heinz Ward should probably make it in.
Um, I think that
He's got a
he's.
thousand catches. He's got over 100 touchdowns, right?
I think that Hines is. I think that he's viable as a candidate. But I don't think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. That's the way that I've always felt.
Okay.
I just think it's really hard for wide receiver. And his stats for the era he played in, to me, they're a little short. That's all. I mean, I watched him and I loved him, and I think he deserves it. But I think he's just.
Yeah, I don't.
I think
Yeah,
he's a half step below. I think he's just a half step below, and I think that's okay. And I don't think there's any shame in that.
I
Um,
don't either. I
that's
don't
just
either.
my feeling. I love Hines. I love Hines. He was my uncle's favorite player. So it's it's not saying to talk down on him. But I think he's just a smidge on the
It
outside
does.
looking
He
in.
does kind of seem like that because of the stats. But then you also have to add in he was a Super Bowl MVP, and he does have a Super Bowl, so that still kind of just
Yeah,
doesn't quite kick it enough. Look, I would put him in as
yeah.
as, as far as if it were up to me voting, I'd put a check mark next to Psycho Ward and put 86 in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just the problem is like because I'm looking at the wide receivers that are nominated this year, and I just think there's, I mean, he's near the top of that list, but I don't know that I would say he had a better career as a receiver than say Anquan Bolden or Torrey Holt. And I think if you're only like second or third out of the list of modern candidates, at that position, I think he's just gonna just perpetually be that just shy kind of guy.
Okay.
He
Okay.
deserves it. And he would have been a Hall of Famer if his career started in 1992 instead of 1997. But I think the era does matter. And I mean, his contemporaries were Terrell Owens and Randy Moss. And just the reality of it is, if you look at the paper, it just a half,
Yeah,
just
just a
a
shade small.
that's
All
just my
right.
opinion.
Just curious. I was just curious. I mean, look, hey, anytime we get a guy that comes in that's black and gold, by all means,
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just looking at the candidates right now. I mean, Eli Manning's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Whether or not that's deserving, it's just going to be the case. He's gonna make the Hall of Fame, for sure. He had two of and one of, I mean, the most iconic moments. That Super Bowl 42 is it's one of the iconic
all
moments in
right,
the
if he's
annals
a
of
first
football.
ballot Hall of Famer, then that automatically puts Ben as a first
Yeah,
ballot Hall of
no,
Famer because
Ben should be Ben. It would be absolutely ridiculous if Roethlisberger wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer.
all right.
To me, no, he's one of the top 10. He's one of the 10 best quarterbacks by any metric to ever play the game, and I don't even think that's me being a Steelers fan. The only reason he might have to wait for a year is if they just want to punish him for his scandals or whatever and make him wait a year. But I don't think it.
Well, I don't think they're gonna try to put him in the same year that Brady goes.
Well, Brady played longer than him, so Brady won't
By
be.
one more year.
Was it only one more? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it is only one more year. So if they make Ben wait
Yeah,
1 year, then that puts him the same year as Tom. And
yeah,
I don't think that's gonna fly. That means he'll probably go 3 years if he's not a first.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If Eli is gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer, then all day long you got to put Ben in
Yeah,
there.
no, I think Roethlisberger is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I think Eli, but he's not. So just looking at this year, Eli is the only quarterback. None of the other quarterbacks. Mark Bolger, are you kidding me? Why is he even a finalist? Randall Cunningham, Jake Delhomme, Doug Flutie, Rich Gannon, Jeff Garcia, Donovan McNabb. McNabb might have a chance. I don't think he's a first ballot, but he's a guy that you could argue for
First
the Hall of
ballot,
Fame.
not a first ballot guy, but
No, Steve McNair, Tony Romo. That's not. But running backs, I do think that there are a couple running backs that might be. Sean Alexander might have a really good case. I don't think Tiki Barber was quite there. Um, Priest Holmes was a short run as a really good running back. Chris Johnson was great, but just for a very brief period of time. Jamal Lewis was really good. He had a 2,000-yard season, but I don't know. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't. It'll be interesting to see. But I think Anquan Bolden to me is a Hall of Famer. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Tight ends: Ben Coates, Vernon Davis, Antonio Gates, first ballot Hall of Famer.
All day long.
Yeah, no doubt about that. There's some offensive linemen too. I mean, guys that probably make the Hall of Fame. So I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be tough for like Joe Staley, Willie Anderson. Those are guys that should be in the Hall of Fame probably.
Probably, yeah. Okay. I was just curious as to what you thought about, some of the guys that are nominated for the Steelers, what you thought about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I see Ferrier's nominated, and that's like really cool and good for him because I love Ferrier. He was an awesome player. And same with Big Snack. I love Big Snack, and I think Big Snack was absolutely a Hall of Fame caliber player. But he's not gonna make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I was talking to my friend about this the other day because he's a Packers fan, and he was talking about BJ Raji, and it's like funny how it's like you just don't. No one in the mainstream knows anything about like a nose tackle, because it's not your job to ever make a play, if Casey Hampton, I remember he had the one time where he scooped a fumble and ran for a while, and it was like so funny because it's like, oh, fat guy running with the ball, like, but no one knows what they do because no one's paying attention to the
Have you seen
minutia.
him now?
Yeah, he slimmed down.
Have you seen him now?
Yeah.
Holy moly!
Yeah,
He's
no.
not Big Snack anymore now. He's Little Snack.
I would say of the three, if we're going to say Ferrier, Ward, and Hampton, for me, Hampton's the most deserving of those, but he won't make it.
Even over Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison's not a Hall of Famer. I have no reservations about saying that. If you look at counting stats, TJ's eclipsed every single thing he's done in 7-8 years.
Last time, yeah.
Yeah, Harrison just didn't have a long enough peak, and he didn't make it until he was old. It's nothing against him. He had one of the greatest years ever, and he had the greatest play in Super Bowl history. So on that level, he's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he made literally what most people acknowledge to be the greatest play in Super Bowl history. So I mean, deserved, but he's just, he's just
maybe
not quite.
Maybe that play and I don't know. I like the play to win the Super Bowl. That was a good play, but yeah, the greatest play of all time in Super Bowl history, I would have to say.
Yeah, no, it's just
99-yard interception. Yeah.
No, because if you ask anybody, because that's really the only, I've said this before, that's the only football play that I can remember since what's his name, the guy who ran backwards, remember that? What was Leon?
Marshall. He played for the Vikings. Wrong way, Marshall.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking about. Cowboys or something. The guy ran the wrong way. Leon Lett, was that play?
Oh no, he didn't. I don't think he ran the wrong way.
I'm confused. Whatever.
He was running down the field, and Don Beebe caught up to him and knocked the ball out of his hands, and it wasn't a touchdown. He thought it was going to be a touchdown. Okay. He had the ball all hanging out.
Well, whatever. My point is that the Harrison interception is one of the only football plays in my lifetime that was actually like a cultural moment. Because it was parodied on SNL. Like, literally, like, Kenan Thompson went on SNL as James Harrison, out of breath, like, joking, like, I'm still tired from, making that play. And I think that just shows you, like, that's to me, it's the because it's just the single, it's the moment, it's the, it's, the touchdown pass. Was that, like, a better football play? Yeah, probably. But Steelers fans remember that, and Cardinals fans remember that. But what if you ask any normal person what they remember from that? They're gonna say, "Oh, James Harrison, 100-yard." It's
Yeah,
it's the
like where
greatest play
were
in
you
Super
when
Bowl
James
history.
Harrison ran the ball
But
back for
Harrison,
his
yeah,
100-yard
Harrison
touchdown?
to me, it's not even, it's a
Okay,
sign of
all right.
respect for him to even be nominated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And he feels the same way. He comes out and says the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. So, predictions for
Uh,
Sunday?
well, my first prediction is leave me alone on Sunday, everyone in my Steelers circles, because I have to be traveling, so I'm going to be watching on a delay, so I will not be texting anybody. So leave me alone, please. I will catch
So
up.
you heard it from the man himself.
Yes. Well, I mean, hey, I say it. I say it on the air because I got Discord, I got text, I got this. I got obviously if you're in the
Exactly.
Discord, have fun, text. But I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna mute you. Yeah, I can't be spoiled. I can't be spoiled. I can't be spoiled. So, but I do think they're gonna win, and I think that it's gonna be by the score of 24. They're gonna hold him to 10 again. 24-10.
No. You got it wrong. See, here on Five Star Matchup, we do math right. Okay.
Okay.
So 24 to 8.6.
Yes,
I did it right.
8.6. Yes. They're going to get the rare 0.6 extra point. He's going to hit the inside of the upright and it's going to be worth 0.6.
Right. Okay.
No, right. I think the offense is ready to break through a little bit, and I think they're going to get 3 touchdowns. All of them accounted for by Justin Strawberry Fields. He's going to have 2 passing, 1 rushing. Bob's going to tack on a 71-yard field goal. 24-10. That's my prediction. 4-0.
There you go. My prediction is 4-0 as well. I do like the idea of 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals. One of them being a 60-yarder, not quite a 71-yarder. It's funny when he missed that 62-yarder, he had the leg.
Oh yeah, he just missed it wide.
He had the leg.
Yeah.
But if you notice, when the ball was snapped and the punter put the ball down, it wasn't quite straight up and down. It was a little bit cocked.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors. You kick something like that, I can't ever really dissect it. It is.
Oh, look at that.
BearPod says $1.99, another $1.99. We appreciate you. 23-7 Steelers, the Steelers Depot Focus Heroes. Yeah, I'm just joking. I just make fun of everybody. I got no ill will towards Steelers Depot. It's just a name off my head to make fun of. I just make fun of everybody. I have no ill will. They do great work, obviously.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and Black Rain says 27-10. Defense scores a touchdown.
I like that.
Robert,
I'm going to go with that one.
Robert Road says 23-0. Steelers go 4-0. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody's feeling pretty confident. I wouldn't be surprised, and don't be surprised if it's tighter than it needs to be, because it's the Pittsburgh Steelers and that's how they play. But I think y'all got to just take a second and look around and realize that 3 weeks into this season where we had no idea what to expect, almost all of us are predicting a 4-0 start. That's crazy to think about. I mean, because a month ago you would have said 3-1 would be a pretty good start, and now we're all like, no, we're gonna go 4-0 and it might go 5-0. Like,
even the talking heads are saying it.
Yeah.
Okay. All the talking.
Uh-oh. Lost you, Steel. Don't know if that's just me or if that's him. Damn, always awkward. Am I streaming? I think I'm frozen on the stream. No, I'm not frozen on the stream. It's just Steel Flyers I lost. How unfortunate. Sorry about that, folks. A little hiccup at the end here. What can you do? He's still frozen. Let me see if I can reconnect to my Discord. Not looking likely. Oh, how unfortunate. Well, sorry, folks. Anticlimactic finish to the stream. But we appreciate you and have a good rest of your night.